Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. In previous two videos, we were discussed about the jihad, the terrorism. In second part, we discussed terrorism separately and try to eliminate the misconception about the jihad, the noble duty of every Muslim. It's not against the human beings, it's against the brutality and oppression all over the world. But the Western and the Zionist and the Hindus very much propagate this idea that jihad is a terrorism. Jihad is a noble duty, and being Muslims, every Muslim is responsible and accountable to Allah Almighty on the one day, that the day will be the day of judgment. So it's very much clear about a Muslim who believes in oneness of Allah and finality of the prophethood Muhammad, peace be upon him, never ever commit any offense against the humanity. He always restrain himself from these activities. And we are discussing about the terrorism. Unfortunately, the propagation of terrorism by the Western worlds and even the United Nations and Security Councils, but not the clear definition propagated by the United Nations. It is the moral obligation of the United Nations and big powers to be consensus on the one definition for the whole world, that who are the terrorists or what is the terrorism. It is very unfortunate, and the dual faces of this so-called liberal and the big powers are the supporter of democratic governments. They are working, even America, United States of America, who is producing terrorism in this world, and this world, the global world, make a horrible place for the human beings. Now we are going to discuss difference between jihad and terrorism. Jihad and terrorism are solely two contrasting phenomena. Jihad is a religious duty, while terrorism is a brutality and cruelty. Jihad in Islam means a struggle which might to be preserve a country, a religion, or one's life. Moreover, it is a struggle of moral highness and to eliminate the scourge of social evils. Terrorism, on the other hand, could never be based on moral highness, and its aim is just to slay innocent people and arouse fright and terror to propagate the nefarious agendas of terrorists. Thus, it has no association with Islam or any other religion, as no religion teaches such mass destruction and violence. Terrorism, in most cases, is stimulated by worldly goals, territorial and political. But jihad is an optimum effort in the way of Allah, and no other reason is behind it. Jihad is leaving aside all established terms of life. Islam coined the phrase jihad fi sabilillah, which testify truthfully to its name and completely separate it from theories of savage wars. Instead, a mujahideen's objectives remain the removal of the cause of evil. Terrorism is often an act of brutal massacres of guiltless and innocent civilians, but jihad couldn't be waged against innocents. In the same way, both these terms are misused, as terrorists mostly define themselves as mujahideen, calling their attacks a holy war. Importance of peace in Islam. Islam is a peace and justice deen. The literal meaning of the word Islam is peace and justice, as it is derived from Arabic word Islam, meaning peace. Thus, it is a religion of peace and justice, and desires the existence of peace in the society and forbids unlawful and illicit killing of human beings. As A true believer, Momin, is he from whom people's lives and wealth are safe. We again say that a true believer means Momin is he from whom people's live and wealth are safe. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, of peace and humanity, again elaborates the importance of peace in these words: O people, do not aspire for a war with the enemy and pray to Allah for peace and security in the world. It prefers you have to fight the enemy, then adopt patience and perseverance, and then remember that paradise is under the shadow of the sword. Now we are talking and we are drawing a conclusion. In short, jihad has absolutely nothing to do with terrorism, and the two are poles apart in theory as well as in practice and in action. Terrorism is an evil, jihad is a blessing. Terrorism is the cause of destruction, whereas jihad is an antidote to this. Terrorism knows no bounds. Jihad is measured and disciplined response to the challenge posed by antisocial and anti state elements, be they in the form of invading armies or morally depraved within the same society. Terrorism threatens the very fabric of social and erase or wipe out noble man values, while jihad restores justice, peace, equality, rule of law, respect for human beings, peace and tranquility. There never was nor ever will be any common ground between the authentical concept of terrorism and jihad. This is the misconception, and terrorists don't know the Islam. They have nefarious agendas and to sabotage the peace, tranquility, justice, rule of law, respect of human beings in the earth. Jihad always support the oppressed and the brutality, the oppressed people and against the brutality. So this is a misconception, and I think we are successfully convey you the difference between the jihad and the terrorism, and Islam is separate from the terrorism, and it is not supported by any moment or any follower of Islam. Those who support the jihad, they are not Muslims. The Muslims, the follower of the deen of peace and justice, never think about of hurting any human beings, discriminate, and even support irrespective of their religion, caste, creed, and other things. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.